Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have another Kyoukai Senki kit review. It's been been quite a while, and I always enjoy these Kyoukai Senki kits. Today we have the review of the newly released HG MAILeS Protogouyo. So once again, this released last week, and but at the same time there was another kit I wanted to review last week, which is why I am reviewing this today. Alright, so once again, this is a Kyoukai Senki series kit. Now this is not from the main anime, but once again it's more of like the sub anime that Bandai is releasing on YouTube as well. So yeah, it's a really interesting kit, to be honest. There are a few aspects that we don't see in the previous Kyoukai Senki kits as well, so which is why I am going to make a small comparison with the Byakuchi. Alright, so let me get this guy off the stand. Now once again, this one is using the same feet as the Byakuchi, which was personally one of the more difficult feats to control among the Kyoukai or MAILeS kit as well. Alright, so as usual, let's go over the components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the main unit itself. I absolutely love the design here. A little bit complicated at the same time, but once again, the overall base build is kind of similar to the previous MAILeS kit, but of course there are some different aspects as well. And because, as the name implies, as MAILeS Protogouyo, I'm assuming that there's going to be, you know, a fully completed version, because if this is the prototype, then I'm wondering like what the completed version will be. So once again, I absolutely love the overall details here. Currently I'm giving it the multi-purpose hands, and on the back we have all the backpacks and other parts that are necessary, such as the weapon adapters as well. So other than that, what you should be getting, of course, are these are the regular parts that you should be getting, or equipment that you will actually be using on this kit as well. So number one, I would like to apologize, but once again, I lost the sticker sheet. So after applying the head, I had to actually go outside and pick up something. And once I was back, the sticker sheet was gone, and I have zero clue where that sticker sheet is. But based on my memory, it had the eye stickers, which I did technically apply onto the kit. And then the rest were all these green stickers, which I assume are for the cameras for the weapons. So I don't think I'm missing out too much. But once again, sorry for not being able to show that. But I still have the decal sticker sheet. This goes either on the chest or on the backpack as well. So this is like the symbol or emblem. And then I should put this one out here. And then here we have the regular stuff. So number one, this one, depending on how you look at it, could be a leftover part or not. But because you have options. So currently for the, you see that yellow antenna on the head here. So you can see mine is standing up. But if you want to make it look like it's folded back, downwards towards the back, this is the piece you have to be using, which I will be showing later. And then once again, we get a trigger finger hand for both hands. So you do get a trigger finger for left and right. And currently on the right hand, I gave it the main rifle. So this is one of those rifles which looks pretty much like a SCAR with a grenade launcher, but it's called the dedicated assault rifle. So no specific name, but this is this unit specific, you know, dedicated rifle. So if you don't like the look, you can always take this part off if you want to do so. And once again, as far as I can tell, this is also a unique mold and weapon for this kit, because we never had this design, but we did have a grenade launcher design like this. So very different thing. And then we get a machete, definitely looking cool looking machete type blade. Let me check if there's no specific name, it's just called the machete for this as well. Very big and yeah, pretty cool. It's always good to have close combat weapons as well. And then we do get a pistol type weapon. Once again, I believe this one is called, there's no dedicated name, but in the manual they just calls it the dedicated handgun. So any pistol type weapons, I'm pretty sure even the Gunpla series, they have always been, you know, pretty popular. So once again, I do love the overall sleek design here, and I do like the fact that you can see those 4 holes and you can see through them as well. These small details are always fun to look at. Okay, and then we have these weapon adapters. So like a 30-minute mission kit, this thing has a lot of ports. This is probably the Kyoukai Senki kit that has the most ports ever. There's like ports everywhere. And then you have these 2 weapon connectors. The large one is for let's see, which one was it for? Yeah, I believe the large one is for the pistol, although usually you would think that you would connect it like this, but no, this is actually, you have to connect on top of the gun like this, and then there you go, you have some place to store it on it. And then we also have one for the machete. This is actually pretty, you know, thin, but once again, makes sense. Now they tell you on the manual to put it around here, but I feel like this position is a much more stable position when it comes to like stability. So yeah, pretty cool small details. And as usual, we do get the open style hands, nothing too special there. And then we get these small short blades. Now these are not hidden blades. These are actually for combat knives, which the handles are actually hidden inside the knee. This was actually emphasized on the promo pictures as well. So you can actually see these handles here, and you can actually, you're supposed to be able to take them out. There you go. You have these handles, so there's one for each knee. So that's pretty cool if you ask me. And then what you can do is basically connect these blades together like that. And there you go, you have a combat knife. Pretty cool if you ask me. So you have two of those as well, so if you want to dual wield them, you can always do. And for leftover parts, we have some leftover parts, and they're very familiar. You can see these parts, which are for pretty much the arms for every Kyoukai Senki unit as well. But this one is being a prototype and being a slightly more advanced version, as far as I can understand. It has a different structure, so which I will explain. And then once again, more familiar looking parts, which I believe these were for the feet, starting from the Kenbu. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Now let's go over the articulation here. So once again, I absolutely love the color scheme and looks of this design here. Definitely looks aggressive as well, and definitely has that more advanced combat design as well. So once again, before we go for the actual articulation, I just want to make a quick comparison with the Kenbu, not the Kenbu, so the Byakuchi. Now this is a different version of the Byakuchi, but still overall the same build. So once again, the feet are exactly the same feet as well, so no difference there. And then the overall building structure is also pretty similar as well. So while they don't share the exact same parts, but the overall building process is pretty similar. But once again, another new thing that is that occurred in this kit is that, remember, the arms are always like this. So you have the main arm here, then you have this middle part that connects the shoulder arm and then the wrist here. But in this case, this guy actually has a regular, a Gunpla or a mech typical looking arm unit design here. Of course, the connection point is here, so there's no part that's covering the other side as well, but still, you get my point. And then once again, you can see there's a hole there. What this does is that, for example, if you want to use weapons like this where they have a huge buttstock here, and then what happens is that it lets you put them in, it goes in there, so it gives you a little bit of space for the gun to actually stand in there like that. So that's a pretty interesting design. I wouldn't say it's like 100% necessary to do that, but once again, it's kind of interesting they went the way of engineering in that style. Of course, cleaning up after that is always tricky. You have to always pull that up like that. So interesting design. Alright, so let's go over the articulation here. So let me pull up the camera a little bit more. So the head, once again, the only sticker I was able to salvage was this head, because sticker was on the head sticker. So once again, what I like about this aspect is that once again there is a sticker, but it's behind the clear piece, so you can guarantee that the sticker will last pretty much pretty long. So here we have the head, and you can see the antenna is now standing upwards. But if you don't like that aspect, you can always make it look like it's bent towards the back, which I will be demonstrating later. So once again, the head can go down that much, pretty well done, and then upwards. Oops, yeah. I don't know why, but this overall helmet part was slightly. I wouldn't say it has the best connection. So maybe it's because there's going to be something related in the future or based on this. So who knows? But once again, going downwards is possible. Going upwards, it goes up pretty well for a Kyoukai Senki kit as well. So, and considering its design, that's pretty well done. And then 360, I would say not really possible unless you know your way around. So you need to make sure the neck joint is standing upwards, then you can go 360. So make sure you know how the neck joint moves. It's the same neck joint as every other Kyoukai Senki or Mailes kit as well. Alright, for the shoulder / arm, so there are some interesting ports here. So you can see here they tell you to use these parts that you push it in towards the shoulder hole. So on the back there's another hole there. Technically that is, oh boy, this is getting messy. Okay, so here we have the regular port here, and then they give you these pieces to either plug it into the front or back. Now the only tricky part is pulling these back out. So if you don't want to use them, don't use them. But once again, as I mentioned before, there are just so many ports here. There's ports on the shoulder, there's technically 3 of them here, and then there's one on the crotch, on the sides, on the side of the arm, side of the sides as well. There's just so many ports here, even on the leg areas here. And as you can see, there is a backpack. Now this is a typical Kyoukai Senki males kit back style design. Now there has been semi backpacks like this to carry equipment around, but this one takes it to a whole different level. So there's this gigantic backpack here. So I'm not sure if this, like having a larger version of this helps, but still they overall did change a few designs here. You still have the weapon racks here, but they changed the main connecting point here. And once again, it is slightly tricky to make sure to guarantee the overall connection here, but it does stay there. And then here we have these more racks here. So these are also, you are technically able to store the weapons here as well. So if I remember correctly, you are able to do something like this. Yeah, but once again, the placements are kind of off, but once again, I will try to demonstrate like this. So if you do actually have like 2 pistols, you can actually store both of them. But once again, I feel like the backpack is going to get in the way a lot. So a little bit odd, but once again, possible. Alright, so the shoulders or arms, they have the same style of articulation. So you do get your forward and backward movement here, and then you still have the pistons, but for the first time, they do not color it gold anymore. I mean, they don't give you a gold sticker anymore. This one is actually pure black, so thank God. So once again, you do get a very nice articulation with the the piston moving like that as well. And then going 360 on the arm is entirely possible. Make sure you don't collide with the backpack. And then going to the side is also possible. And then because of the connection here, 360 twist is possible, and you get a very nice bend. And I will, for now, detach the backpack. Or unless I did it, yeah, okay, maybe I connected to the wrong direction, but either way, you get my point. So yeah, I think I may have connected the backpack in the wrong direction, but yeah, this backpack, for some reason, the main connecting point isn't as stable as compared to the previous backpacks here. Now this one, I didn't have any trouble of it falling off on its own as many as possible. This one is just, you know, falling off on its own. So it's either the weight or maybe it's just the connection port. But you get my point. And then, oh yeah, this part here is actually the back skirt. So a very fat back skirt, if you ask me. Alright, so now the body has the same articulation here, side to side movement is possible. Now 360 is not exactly possible because of the way how it's articulated. So you can see it's actually connected in an angle. So 360 is not going to be a possible option, but you do get a nice, very ab crunch and side to side diagonal articulation movement there. And then once again, the legs, because they're other than the fat back skirt here, you do get a very nice front kick, back kick. If you spread the leg a little bit outwards, and then going to the side should be no problem as well. And then once again, these are the reverse legs or werewolf type legs, depending on which language you are depending on how you look at it. So once again, you have the first bend point here which does have a typical, you know, bend direction here, and then you have the lower leg that has the forward that can bend forward as well. Of course, unlike the byakuchi, you do get a little bit backwards movement as well. And then the feet here, once again, these are the very complicated feet where you don't have any side to side move. You do not rotate these side to side. I mean, there is a little bit of rotation here, but does not go all 360. And you have to make sure these toes are not these flat parts, but these toe-looking things are actually touching the ground. So you have to constantly match the ground angle here, which is not exactly ideal or easy. So depending on how you pose it, matching these feet directions could be very, very tricky. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the unit. So it has all the pretty much the previous Kyoukai Senki males kit articulation and aspects, which other than the arms with having a slightly different style compared to the previous ones as well. Alright, so we've seen the basics. I'll be right back with the first demonstration, which is attaching all the weapons to the unit as well. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the first demonstration here. So once again, I was able to attach every weapon onto its weapons rack. Now keep in mind, there are more weapons racks than the weapons itself. So once again, I did kind of borrow the Byakuchi's rifle onto the backpack, so that just to show you guys that this is the exact same piece slash port that supports the rifle here. So, and once again, even though if I did attach everything, you still have these two parts left on the back skirt. So once again, it's really you're gonna have to get more weapons, or I believe for this specific unit they're also releasing a weapons pack set, so you might want to get that as well. And for the pistol, I attach it to its side. So once again, there's a lot of ways you can attach here. So these are, I'm just attaching onto the basic ports, but once again, you can always attach it like any place you want. So you can see there's a shoulder port here. You can just attach it like that, and there you go. Or you can even attach it onto the arm. Same goes for the machete. So it's really up to your preference. And once again, here is the other antenna part I was talking about. So the one I was previously using was this part, which allows it to make the antenna look like it's standing upwards. There's another part here which I showed you previously, which allows the antenna to look like it's folded backwards. So yeah. Alright, so the only part I don't like about this rifle is that while the previous rifles, while the handle was on the middle, so it had a much more stable connection look, this one is actually pretty much on the back section of the rifle, which does not exactly have the best look like this when you connect it, because of the gigantic grenade launcher part. So once again, it works pretty well. Alright, so we've seen the basics of this part. I'll be right back with the weapons demonstration. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the first demonstration with the close combat weapon. So once again, you can hold the blade upside down if you want to do so. I mean, for the combat knife. But once again, if you want to, you can always hold it upwards as well. And this one, the blade or the knife actually slides into the hand, so no problem as well. And once again, one thing I've noticed regarding this kit is that every time I try to pull out the hand, not only the hand pops out, but the middle wrist part here also pops out. So this has never happened onto the previous Kyoukai Senki kits males as well, because this is a different structure. I'm not sure this is like intended, but once again, a little bit odd situation here. I mean, the manual does kind of mention something similar, but not exactly to the point where it's supposed to pop out. But yeah. And then for the machete, once again, holds it no problem as well. Of course, you're gonna need to take off the handguard and then attach that as well. So yeah, for the close combat weapons, that is pretty much it. Of course, the lengths of the two weapons are very different, but once again, these are close combat knives, which are supposed to be stored in the knees. So once again, they're not exactly meant to be like the main close combat weapons, more like for emergency uses. Alright, so we've seen the basic close combat weapons. I'll be right back with the guns. Okay, here is the final demonstration here. So once again, here we have the large rifle onto the right hand and then the pistol onto the left hand. Now, despite how the pistol handle looks very straight, these do not slide into the hands at all, even whether it's the multi-purpose hand or the trigger finger hand, it just does not slide in. Because as far as I can tell, on the bottom section there is a little bit more wider gap compared to the handle, which is why it's not really sliding in. Now for the rifle, same situation here. The end section has another like angled tip there, which is why it's not allowed to slide in. Now, despite how heavy this assault rifle looks like with the overall grenade launcher, it does not affect the wrist at all. And also thanks to the part that gets pushed into the arm, the buttstock does not actually affect the overall holding style, because depending on the buttstock, you'll have to position towards the armpit rather than just the arm here. So that's a pretty cool small engineering design, if you ask me. Now, when you're using the rifles, the only downside is that with just the kit itself, the backpack and every port becomes pretty much empty, and because the machete does not connect to these ports as well. But overall, I'm pretty sure people are going to get the weapons pack as well, because that comes with a ton of weapons, which I am not really into as well. Alright, so that is pretty much it for the review. So this was the review of the newly released HG MAILeS Protogouyo. I personally just enjoy and love the overall build of the Kyoukai Senki kits, which is why I'm collecting them. But once again, if this is not your cup of tea, you're not really missing out at all, because if you actually tried the Kenbu or Byakuchi previously, you know how these kit works, you know how the structure works. So there's nothing entirely super new other than the overall design aspects changing just a bit, but overall build will be the same. Now, I'm just curious what else kind of Kyoukai Senki units will be showing up on this other new series. We have seen other previous designs, but with different colors. Now, this is one of the cases where it's an entirely new unit. So, kind of curious how this is going to go. But anyway, if you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews on, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.